In the 1950s and 60s, Croydon was transforming. The borough had set its sights high, literally, with the construction of various skyscraper office blocks. One of those, and probably the most distinguished, was the NLA Tower, better known today as Number 1 Croydon, or simply the 50p Tower, or its pre-decimal moniker, the Threepenny Bit Building. Designed by Richard Seyfert, the scheme originally called for a tall office block set on a podium, part of a larger complex at the apex of Addiscombe Road, George Street and Altire Road. But one small, stubborn detail changed all of it. At 10 Addiscombe Road stood a modest Edwardian property called Eastbridge House. It was home to the solicitor's practice Harding & Co., run by Miss Kathleen Maureen Harding, born in 1916. She was the daughter of Croydon's wartime mayor, Arthur Herbert Harding, and a formidable character in her own right. When developers approached her in the late 60s, she refused to give up her leasehold. No amount of persuasion or pressure could shift her. Her refusal to give up her office meant the new development could not proceed. They offered her £10,000 compensation. No, they said the building would be named in honour of her late father, the former mayor of Croydon. Nothing. Instead, the Ministry of Housing decided that development could proceed and Harding could retain the property until 1976, when her leasehold would expire. And so, building work began, while her little house still stood on the corner, forcing the architect to scrap the podium design. The tower rose instead as a freestanding block, isolated above the roundabout and car park we know today. Photos show the surreal sight of the gleaming white skyscraper, freshly opened in 1970, with Miss Harding's small brick house still clinging on at its base. In the end, Miss Harding decided to vacate the property early. In 1973, Eastbridge House was finally demolished, and Miss Harding moved on. Her determination, however, had already left its mark. The design of Croydon's most famous tower owes its shape not only to the architect's vision, but to one solicitor's stubborn refusal to bow to the bulldozers. Today, as you pass Number 1 Croydon, remember Miss Harding and her little office. The woman who held her ground long enough to change our town's skyline.